Welcome back to the subject Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. Today's topics are Inception and Use Cases, Use Case Diagram, Evolutionary Requirements. Inception. The purpose of inception is to understand the scope of the system. Actually, this inception is one of the phase in evolutionary process model. At the time of inception, we need to understand the main purpose of the system, what is within the scope of the system and what is external to the system. So we should list all the primary actors and the use cases at the time of inception. So next one is an identifying the stakeholders. Begin with listing all the external stakeholders of the system. These individuals will be the source of the requirements. The next one is an identifying the actors. So there are two types of actors are there as we know. One are the primary actors, the other one is an secondary actors. So at the time of inception, we need to identify the all actors, including their names and describing the primary actors. The next one is identify the use cases. So for each actor, ask what does this actor wants to accomplish with the system. So this will reveal the primary use cases for the system, name and describing each of these as you discover them. So inception is nothing but it is one of the phase at the time of evolutionary process model. And in this inception, it needs to understand the overall scope of the system and update the use case models. So updating the use case model to capture the actor and use case names and brief description, capture the relationship between the actors and use cases, outline the basic flows. So this is used to for those who use cases that are considered high priority by the stakeholders or high risk by the development teams, capture the step-by-step description of the basic flow. So identify the alternate flows. So which are the outside the basic flow as well as identifying the alternate flows. It is nothing but whenever we draw a use case diagram, we know that the cases consisting of include and extend cases. So at the time of this outlining the basic flows, we need to identify which are include and which are extended cases. So refactor the use case model. Based on the basic flow, you have to identify, determine if there is a common behavior that could be the factored out into use cases. Refactor the use case model according to it. The next one is a prioritize use cases. Given the abstract description of the requirements, work with stakeholders to prioritize the use cases. This will be the primary input to the interaction planning. Coming to these inception and use cases, this is an example of the use case model as it would appears in the inception. Primary actors and use cases are identified. There may or may not be an outline of the basic flow. That is a floss yet. So automatic teller mission is a remote unit connected to the bank computer systems. So as we know, if you take an example of an automated teller machine, this is one of the remote unit connected to the bank computer systems. The purpose of the system is to bring regular bank services closer to the customers and increases the working hours to around the clock. Like it is also important to decrease the amount of the bank cashiers, and ATM withdrawal is less expensive for the bank than a withdrawal from a teller. So if we take a case study of an automatic teller machine, with the help of this inception, we can identify what is the total number of actors that are involved in designing the automatic teller machine, what are the cases are there, and what is the relationship between the use cases and the actors. So this ATM system requires that each bank customer has an ATM card and remembers this PIN code. So the whole security of this system builds on the PIN code. So this is the overall diagram that we can represent for an ATM teller machine, where the use case diagram consisting of one is a system boundary. This is a system boundary which is represented with a rectangle box. On the top of this, we used to write the system name, and these are the oval shapes which are considered as an use cases, and these are the actors. Here we can find that there are two different types of actors are there. One is a high priority actor, the other one is a low priority actors. In this case, the banker employees are the high priority actors, and you can see the low priority actors like an bank customers and maintenance person. So depend upon the developer, they may be giving the high priority and low priority. So whenever we draw the use case diagram, Towards the left side, we'll have an high priority actors, and towards the right side, we'll have an low priority actors. And here we can see the cases like withdraw cash, transfer the fund, deposit the fund, and refill the machine. So if you keenly observe this, the relation between the actor is a maintenance person, is having only the relation with the refill the machine. So the person is nowhere related to the transferring the fund or deposit or with withdraw. So as we can see, the relation between the actor and this use case. And if you see one of the customer, there is a bank customer, is having the relation with the withdraw cash, transfer funds, and deposit funds. At the same time, the bank employee is having the interaction with the all the cases like withdraw, transfer, and deposit. So this is a briefly understanding whenever the customer is interacting with the developer used to collect all the information, the kind of information, it may be a functional information, it may be a technical and non-technical information, everything will be collected in terms of an use case diagram. Like it will be very simple in understanding whenever they used to communicate rather than writing the whole script or writing the whole inputs in terms of a document. So what are the actors that are involved in an ATM machine? Like the bank customers, bank maintenance person. These are the three different types of actors that are involved in the ATM machine. Coming to the use cases, withdraw cash, transfer funds, deposit funds, and refilling the machine. All these are the use cases. Coming to the evolutionary requirements. So this object-oriented analysis and design is a software engineering methodology that is widely used to develop high-quality software systems. And this OAD is based on the principles of OAD programming and including several techniques and methodologies for the analysis and designing of the software system. So one of the techniques that are used in OAD is evolutionary development. So as we know that there are various types of software development lifecycle models are there. This is one of the techniques that are used in OAD is the evolutionary development. So this evolutionary development is a software development approach that is based on the incremental and iterative development of the software system. So as we know that there are various types of software development lifecycle models which comes under incremental model, iterative model, evolutionary model. So this evolutionary model is also one of the software development approach. So it is an adaptive approach that focus on delivering working software early and then refining it over time based on feedback from users and stakeholders. So this evolutionary development is often used in OAD because it allows designers to refine and evolve the design of the system over time based on the changing requirements and needs of the users. So in simple words, we can say that whenever there is an enhancement of an softwares, like whenever there is going for version development, in that cases, this evolution development model is very much helpful in developing the and to enhance the version. So like already there is a piece of software which is existed to overcome the drawbacks in that version to enhance the new version. This evolution model is playing a key role in taking of all those such kind of softwares. So this approach is in contrast to the traditional approach to the software development, which is based on the sequential and linear process, where the requirements are defined front and the design and implementation of the system follow a predetermined plan. So the evolutionary development, the designs of the system is broken down into the small manageable pieces and each piece is developed and tested separately. This approach allows designers to focus on delivering the work software early and then refine it over time based on the feedback from the users and the stakeholders. The goal is to deliver a work system and meets the needs of the users and stakeholders while minimizing the risk of failure. So if you see, this is a simple example diagram which can be defining the evolution model. So already a model which is developed based on the existing, this is going to be evaluate and evolutionary can take place to the new enhancement of the model. And based on these existence, again, the new version of the model is going to be taking place. Like it is a continued process based on the previous inputs. It is going to moderate and the next version of that software is going to be developed. So with this, we can understand what is an evolutionary process model. Thank you.